the circuit is filling up nicely. There's lots of people milling about in the paddock. The grandstand, also very well populated. And the circuit is now also populated with 18 junior Rotax karts on their rolling lap. Mark Kimber in the 47, the 96 of Joe Turney start from row number 1. Kimber hasn't won a race yet this weekend. He's finished 3rd, 4th, 5th and 5th in his 4 heats. Joe Turney, on the other hand, has won 2 of his 4 races, but he had a 14th place in his last heat, courtesy of a nose cone penalty. That's why he starts on the outside of the front row. Miles Apps in the blue, number 14, Dan Holland Racing kart. And the E-plate holder, privateer driver number 53, Tommy Foster, share the second row. Tyler Chesterton for Coles Racing. And William Petit, the O-plate winner for Truly Motorsport, on row 3. Reese Hunter and Jensen Brown on row 4. Cole Kilner for Mick Barrett Racing in the number 74 kart. And Isaac Smith on row 5. Tamer Chauhan, we've been speaking about him, the driver from Dubai, having a go at British karting for the first time, I believe. He's had a weekend to remember. He is there on row 6 alongside Luke Oliver. Ryan Elliott, George Holbrook, Jason Lockwood, Henry Ayres, Jamie Conker and Logan Blake round out the field, although I am led to believe that Luke Oliver in the number 77 kart is not there. 17 drivers therefore take the start. They all successfully negotiate the first corner and head out onto the banking with the poleman Mark Kimber now in the lead. Miles Apps from the inside of row 2 gets the jump on Joe Turney as they come down towards hairpin number 1 into that first hairpin, and side by side Jensen Brown in the number 32 kart runs a little bit wide. The number 99 Thule kart of Tamer Chauhan goes through. But up at the front, Kimber leads Apps into the Fullerton S's and onto the back straight. And they've already opened up a size of a little advantage. Third place scrap coming around the Mike Wilson complex now is led by, I believe, Tyler Chesterton. Is that Chesterton or Foster? It is the white, red and blue tinged number 25 of Chesterton. Joe Turney running in 4th place. Not a great start for Joe, although he now moves to the inside of Chesterton on the banking to take P3. Chesterton slots back in 4th with Foster in 5th. And behind Foster is the that's Reese Hunter in the 34 kart. Change of lead. Miles Apps slides up the inside of Mark Kimber at the first hairpin. Takes top spot. Kimber, savvy as he is, realises there's no point battling. I'll slot into second and see if you're quicker and if we can pull away from everyone else with you in the lead. And if after a couple of laps we can't, I'll probably pass you back. It's amazing what the drivers will... They can't communicate with one another, but they'll know. They know racing, they know kart, they know how to get through one of these races most effectively. Sometimes they do. Doesn't always work out like that. And Joe Turney, capitalising on the fact that there was a change of lead, closing in, getting a really good run out onto the bank, and Turney slides to the inside of Kimber, takes the lead at turn number 2, and behind them, think that is the Mick Barrett number 74 of Cole Kilner running off track, and there's a battle down for the lead now at the first hairpin. Turney takes top spot. Chesterton relieves Mark Kimber of 2nd place. Miles Apps is down to 4th, just in front of Tommy Foster and William Petit. And Kilner, who obviously just ran off track going into turn number 3 and had to go down the banking. So he's back up and running, but right at the back. However, he's got 9 minutes to go, and judging by the general look and feel of the front of the pack, with drivers sending moves in on one another in the early stages, Kilner may have a chance to catch some of the back markers, depending on how things progress over the next 8 minutes. Joe Turney, after a poor start, has made short work of Kimber. Chesterton and Apps has the lead. Now can he hold on to it? Chesterton 2nd. Kimber third, Apps fourth. Bit of a gap back to the Thule Kart of Petit in fifth. Then Tommy Foster. Behind Foster is Reese Hunter in the number 34. And behind Reese Hunter, there's Tamer Chauhan in the number 99 Thule Kart. Isaac Smith runs ninth for Persistence Motorsport. Then Jensen Brown rounds out the top 10. And the 17 drivers that start this race are all still running. And talked about the big names in terms of teams in British karting. For those of you that are watching from overseas, you've got KR Sport, Coles Racing, Strawberry Racing, Dan Holland Racing and Thule Motorsport. One member of each team in the top 5. They're all on the same family of chassis, different names, but they're all OTK products. The green Tony Kart, the purple Cosmic, the blue Alonso, and showing that they're very evenly matched as Apps moves to the inside of Kimber. To take third place, and every time one of the leaders go side by side in a battle, they lose momentum, and the drivers in front pull away a little bit, and the drivers behind catch up a little bit. And that is why Tyler Chesterton is content to just follow in Turney's wheel tracks. On this straight, the start-finish straight, the slipstream effect is phenomenal. Through the Bruno Ferrari S, the contour of the circuit, under the bridge and then out onto the banking, you can gain 5 or 6 kart lengths, even in junior Rotax. And Apps, who lost a couple of kart lengths passing Kimber a few laps ago, now draws right up to the back of the top 2, and Tyler Chesterton opens the door, takes the lead. Apps sees an opportunity, briefly grabs it, but then finds himself on the outside line for the second hairpin and actually loses 2 places to Kimber and to Petit, as Joe Turney slips to second. Well, he briefly slipped to third, regained it very quickly. And Tyler Chesterton, 5 kart lengths in front as they come through the Mike Wilson complex. 6 minutes to go. Cole Kilner now just 9 seconds behind Logan Blake, who's running in 16th position. Jamie Conker is 15th. Henry Ayres is 14th. The 66 of Ryan Elliott is 13th. Jason Lockwood is 12th. George Holbrook 11th. And Isaac Smith rounding out is in 10th. Jensen Brown up in 9th. Then it's Reese Hunter in 8th. Tamer Chauhan is 7th. But they're 2 seconds behind the top 6, who run nose to tail with the red and white number 53 privateer run kart. That's no team, just family, maybe a mechanic, no big truck or anything like that. That's the definition of a privateer in karting. Tommy Foster hanging on. Well, he's not hanging on, he's quite content to sit there. He's not struggling to hang on to the lead group. And it's good to see independent run drivers being able to compete with the big teams, because the big teams have raised the level of professionalism in our sport remarkably over the past 20 or so years. But of course, there is a price of progress, and that price has been at the expense of, ordinary families who like their racing being squeezed. Foster is proving that if you work hard enough, you can still compete. There's a few more examples of leading privateer drivers that we'll mention during the course of the day. But a change of the lead. William Petit takes top spot from Joe Turney. And, well, Petit now loses top spot in the Fullerton S's. Well, that's good driving there from Turney and Petit, because the Fullerton S's is not normally a place where you would run side by side. You do need the cooperation of the person you're racing with. And that cooperation was there between Turney and Petit. I was saying that as Petit took the lead, that kind of signalled a comeback that started on Friday afternoon when he was excluded from the first heat of the weekend, which put him on the back foot. And he's then been battling back to the front ever since. He's now in second. He's now in the lead into turn 4. Brave move there from Petit. There's not a lot of room for error in turn 4. He leads. We've got 3.5 minutes to go, and, well, the top 6 at the moment as Petit starts to defend. Well, let me tell you that Tamer Chauhan in cart number 99 is currently 3.2 seconds behind the race leader. There's Tamer going into the Fullerton S's. I believe, and unless someone from the Thule team comes and shouts at me and tells me I'm wrong, I believe this is Tamer's first race in the UK. It's certainly the biggest race that he has done. It has been an eye-opener for him. Very quick, lacking in experience. I think the word we use is raw. He's made mistakes, but he's learnt, and luckily for the top 6, they've calmed down because Petit was looking a little bit defensive. Oh, hang on a second, they haven't calmed down. Turney and Apps have passed Petit out in the banking. And Tamer Chauhan was 3.2 seconds behind. He's now 2.6 seconds behind. The top 6, I think the gloves are being loosened. I'm not sure if they're fully off yet, but they've certainly been loosened as Apps now dives at the inside. Hairpin number 1 to take the lead. Petit slips to second. Turney, Kimber, third and fourth. Then Chesterton and Tommy Foster are next. And all the while, Tamer Chauhan is closing in and probably thinking to himself, I got a chance. And he may go in all guns blazing towards the end of this one if he catches the top 6. Apps, though, crosses the line to complete lap number 10. Turney gets a good run on Petit out onto the banking, but Petit holds him off. And Petit actually closes in on the race leader as they go over the bridge. Now, Petit, that was where he passed Turney coming through turn 4. He can't pass Miles Apps, but he gets a good run. To the inside goes William Petit side by side. Apps is going to get squeezed back to third. Kimber, Chesterton and Foster, they can't go anywhere. Their path is blocked by battling carts. And Tommy Foster, as they come up the short chute towards the Fullerton S's, Foster glances over his shoulder, and he will then see Tamer Chauhan now only 2.5 seconds off the lead, which means he's only 1.5 seconds behind Foster. And so now Foster knows that he needs to get a hurry up. He'll start putting the pressure on Chesterton, who will put the pressure on Kimber. The top 3 under the bridge, led by Petit, who defends into turn 2. He takes a tight line onto the banking. Apps ran wide on the entrance to the corner to try and sweep underneath. Turney going into turn 3, but he couldn't. Now Petit defends again. 30 seconds to go. And as the top 6 come around, hairpin number 1, Foster makes the move on Chesterton, and Tamer Chauhan and the number 32 of Jensen Brown catch the lead group, and they're bringing Hunter and Holbrook with them. Pretty soon, half the 10 drivers are going to be battling for the race lead. Now, what does Tamer Chauhan do in the number 99 cart? He's got Tommy Foster and Tyler Cheston right in front of them. This is the biggest event in domestic British karting, and you can see the race lead as the last lap board comes out. Petit, Turney, Apps is the order. Petit's got a 2-kart length lead. Turney's going to get to him though as they head onto the banking. Petit defends. Now the gloves are off. Petit hugs the inside line into turn 3, over the bridge, defends through 4, and now watch him sneak to the inside of the circuit. Turney goes with him, and now he'll break back to the outside to try and get the apex. No, he doesn't even bother. He just hugs the inside line. He knows that it's going to be one heck of a move if you go around the outside of him. Turney, Apps, Kimber, Foster, Ravenscroft, Chesterton, sorry. Then Chauhan, still in 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Brown, Hunter and Holbrook, all within 2 seconds of the lead. Into the Mike Wilson complex we go. And William Petit is going to lead them on to the start-finish line. And I don't think Joe Turney is close enough to do anything about the O-Plate winner, who takes the checkered flag and wins by 0.2 of a second. Turney started second, finished second. His journey there over the interim 12 minutes was not as calm as that. But you notice that nobody on that last lap did anything too gung-ho, because they had worked quite hard to get into a position where they could battle for the win, and one mistake on the final lap would see them starting the main event where the prizes and the prestige is handed out down at the back, and nobody wanted to risk that, so everyone behaved themselves. Petit wins from Turney and Apps, the top three. Kimber, the pole man, down to fourth. Foster in fifth. Chesterton in sixth. Chauhan, Brown, Hunter and Colebrook rounding out the top 10. The top 10 separated by 2 seconds.